So, Volodymyr, tell me about yourself. When I was a 14-year-old kid, I wanted to launch my first business, e-commerce shop. However, I need some first capital in my case. So, I went this idea of launching e-commerce shop to my father, and I came with the burning eyes and asked him for the first capital investments, but I was rejected. He is a very rational person, and after my bad pitch, he decided to give me a life lesson and rejected my idea. So, but I didn't lose any hope. I went to my close neighbors and pitched my idea, and after a tiny smile, my neighbors say, "Okay, I'll think about it." And apparently, this neighbor told the story to my father, and the next day, my father went to me and said, uh, like, "Well done, Vladimir. You deserve this with your passion and motivation about your idea, and give me 300 bahts." After that, I learned multiple ways to achieve any goal, and after that, a long time passed, but I'm still this kind of have achiever mindset, either though that business failed. And I know that Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, also have this achiever mindset. As I recall, he was born in India and graduated from the Indian University. However, he ended up in Stanford. He definitely put some lot of efforts in a temp, and I would be very gladly to work in a company that I share the same values and the CEO of the company and my future colleagues. So it's very important in life to find the people with the same mindset in your life. So, Volodymyr, what are your strengths? When I was 14 years old, I wanted to launch my first business, e-commerce shop. However, I need some capital, like first capital. Then I came with the same burning eyes to my father asking for the capital, but I was rejected. My father is a very rational person, and after my bad pitch, he decided to reject my idea and give me the life lesson. And but I didn't lose any hope. I just went to the neighbor that lives across the street and pitched my idea instead. And after the pitch, the neighbor said, "Okay, I will think about it." And apparently, this neighbor told the story to my father, and on the next day, my father went to me and said, "Well done, Volodymyr. You deserve this with your passion about your idea and motivation to do so," and gave me 300 bucks. After that, I learned multiple ways how to achieve idea, and so a long time passed after this, and of course, my business failed, but I have the same achiever mindset. So my strength is that I always have a backup plan and achieve something no matter what cost it would take. Of course, except the overcoming some moral rules. But when I feel devastated, and I will feel devastated if I will not do my best, if I will not try all the possible options to overcome some problem. So some people afraid of making mistakes, and I'm afraid to not to do my best in solving a problem or achieve something. Okay, Volodymyr, then tell me about your weaknesses. This summer, I went to Istanbul for 1 month, and me and my friend booked an apartment in a nice location in Istanbul near the city center, and we've been supposed to come on Sunday and just simply to contact the owner that we arrived so he could open the door. But we came up on the Sunday to our apartment and realized one major missing out and miscalculation. They have in Turkey a nationwide curfew every Sunday due to Corona, so streets were just empty and there was no chance that we'll find some kind of cafes or Wi-Fi to contact the owner. And after spending 1 hour near the building where our flat was located, we realized that host is never gonna find out that we arrived. So I started to think how to change the situation, and I didn't find any option to go for look for random people and ask them to give a hotspot of Wi-Fi or call the host. And after a few unsuccessful attempts, I saw a woman smoking on the third floor, and I started to scream, showing her I need some help. And apparently, she went downstairs, and actually, she was so nice, and he gave me my phone, and I called the host by herself, explaining something in Turkish. So and then after 30 minutes, the host arrived, but my drawback sometimes is that I'm not attentive to some tiny details. I can miss the information, but however, then I'm trying all of the ways to overcome this problem, and what I've done. So yeah, that's my drawback. So, Volodymyr, please, tell us, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So, when I was a 14-year-old kid, I wanted to launch my first business, a commerce shop. However, I need some first capital, and I came with the same burning eyes to my father, asking him for the first capital, but I was rejected. He is a very rational person, and after my bad speech, he just decided to give me a life lesson and reject my idea. And I didn't lose any hope. I just went to the neighbor across the street and pitched my idea aside. And after a tiny smile, the neighbor said, "Okay, Volodymyr, I'll think about it." But apparently, after one day, the neighbor told the story to my father, and my father came to me and said, "Volodymyr, well done. You deserve this with your passion and motivation for your idea," and gave me 300 bucks. After that, I learned how to achieve something uh, in multiple ways, and I know that sometimes businesses and entrepreneurs are struggling to find funding for their bold ideas. So after that, I decided to my life's mission that I would dedicate myself helping entrepreneurs to make their ideas come true. This is why I see myself uh, to as a team leader in Google Ventures in 5 years. So it's very bold statement, but I will do my best. So, Volodymyr, tell us how good are you dealing with the change? So this summer I went to Istanbul for 1 month with my friend, and we booked a nice apartment in a nice location in the city center. So we were supposed to come to Turkey on Sunday and simply find the place and just contact the owner and explain that we arrived, and so he could open the door. And after that, we came on the bus on Sunday and to our apartment, and then we realized one thing that we really missed and miscalculated. There was a nationwide curfew every Sunday due to Corona, and streets were just empty. There was no chance that we'll find any cafes or Wi-Fi to contact the host. And after spending 1 hour near the building where our flat was located, I realized that our host is never gonna find out that there is we there, and it's a big chance that we'll spend the whole overnight near apartment on the street. And then I started to think how to change this situation into a better way, and I didn't find any better solution, just to go for random people and ask them to give me a hotspot or a telephone to call the host. And after a few unsuccessful attempts, I saw a woman smoking on the third floor, and I started to scream. I started to think that we need some help, and apparently this woman came down and started to help us, started to talk but she didn't talk any English, so I just gave her the phone number of our host, and she called and explained something in Turkish. And after that, in 30 minutes, our host came. So during this trip and this situation, I completely went off my comfort zone, which is the same as changing the situation because it's very possible to get out of your comfort zone if you cannot change, if you're not used to the change in your life. So for me, I just realized that for me it's better to get out to the comfort zone rather than just be in a zone. And I feel myself much more productive when everything in the environment is changing rapidly, when I'm usually out of my comfort zone. So it's a very strange paradox. I feel uncomfortable in a comfortable zone, so I need change in the company to develop. Okay, Vladimir, tell us how do you work well under the pressure? So this summer I went to Istanbul for 1 month. So me and my friend booked an Airbnb apartment in a nice location in the city center. So we are supposed to come there on Sunday and just simply find a place and contact the owner that we arrived. But after that we came both on Sunday and supposed to go on Sunday to our apartment, and we realized one thing that we really missed and miscalculated. There is a nationwide curfew on every Sunday due to Corona, and the streets are just empty, and there was no chance that we'll find some place to find a Wi-Fi or a cafe and so on. So after spending 1 hour on the apartment, there was a big opportunity and possibility that we'll spend our overnight on the street. So after a few unsuccessful attempts, I decided just to change the situation, and I didn't find any better solution than just go for random people and ask them for the help. And after a few unsuccessful attempts, I saw a woman smoking on the third floor, and I started to scream. Please, we need your help. And then she went down. And the lady was so nice, and I gave her the phone number of the host, and she called him and explained something in Turkish. And after 30 minutes, the guy, our host, arrived. So that was really a situation where was a big pressure on to me, and my friend who actually said that that it's a very ridiculous idea to go and ask for people for their phones. He said they never gonna give it. It's unbelievable. Like let's do and go for some place to look and so on. And knowing that you'll need to spend the whole night on the street, it's bigger pressure. However, the pressure makes me seeing the situation on different angle and take more risky decisions and bold decisions. So under the pressure, I get a little bit of adrenaline in my blood, and I became more productive, and I think much more sharp, I would say, and better in terms of making the decisions. How do you make important decisions, Volodymyr? So when I was 13 years old, I wanted to launch my first business, a commerce shop. However, I need some capital. So I went to my father with the burning eyes and asking him for the first capital, but I was rejected. He is a very rational person, and after my bad pitch, he decided to reject my idea and give me a life lesson. And but I didn't lose any hope, and went to the neighbor across the street, and yeah, and I just pitched my idea instead to my neighbor, and he said, "Okay, Volodymyr, I'll think about it." And apparently, the neighbor told this story to my father, and on the next day, my father went to me and gave me 300 bucks and said, "Well done, Volodymyr. You deserve this money because of your passion and motivation for this idea." And so a lot of my important decisions are coming from my heart, actually. I always reminding myself a quote that written in a Mark Zuckerberg workplace. What would you do if you weren't afraid? So I'm actually making the most decisions when I'm daring myself. On a micro level decisions, I'm a very rational person. I usually calculate. However, important global decision level decisions, I am daring myself and implementing the most bold ideas, and everything turned out great. And majority of people call people like me crazy. But other 10% call people like me innovators. Thank you. So, Volodymyr, why actually we should hire you? This summer, I went to Istanbul for 1 month. So, me and my friend booked an Airbnb apartment in the nice location that is almost near the city center. I've been supposed to come there on Sunday and just simply find a place to contact the owner that we arrived. And after that, we came on a bus on Sunday to our apartment, and we realized one thing that we just misunderstood and just forgot about it. There was a nationwide curfew due to Corona in Turkey. So streets were just empty. There was no chance that we'll find a place and a cafe or Wi-Fi to contact the owner. So after spending 1 hour near the building and the flat, we just realized that we need to do something, and that there is a big probability that we'll spend our all night on the street. And then I started to think about how can I change the situation? How can I find the better solution? So I didn't find any better solutions than actually go for the street and asking for random people for their phones to help us. And after a few successful attempts, to be true, I found a woman who'd been smoking on the third floor, and I started to scream. I started to say, "Please help me, lady." And the lady was so nice. She went down and she actually gave her phone. I wrote the host, and then she suggested, "Can I call him?" So yeah, I gave her her number. She called the host and explained something in Turkish, and after 30 minutes, the host came and opened up the door. So, answering to your question, I could say that no matter which situation it is, I don't panic and I'm very stress resistful. So, and I'm really able to think outside the box and find the best fit solution. Even if it's a bold solution, but sometimes business needs some creative, bold innovations in order to keep going and be the shark of business. It's very valued by every company. So why shark of business? Because the shark, if the shark stop for 1 minute, the shark just simply think. So that's why businesses need always keep going to be profitable. And that's why I'm confident that Google is just my right type of the company that I would love to work. Thank you.